In this video, I'm going to show you how to make these 3D spheres. To begin with, go to File, New, and make a new document. I'm going to call this Floating Spheres. And put my name on it. Make sure that the width is inches and not pixels. These documents are going to be 5 inches by 7 inches and the resolution is going to be 150. And then click OK. First thing that we need to do is go down here to the Layers panel and click the New Layer button so that we're not working on the background. I'm going to go over to my toolbox and grab the Marquee tool, hold it down, and choose the second one, which is the Elliptical Marquee. When I click and drag, you'll notice that the tool makes an oval. If I hold down Shift, it constrains to a circle. So I'm going to go ahead and drag a nice large circle onto my document. And now I'm going to choose a color for it. So let me take the swatches panel and drag that off here to the side. Now I would like some more color options, so what I'm going to do is open this menu on the side, and one of the palettes that I really like is called True Match right here. So I'm going to append that, and now I have lots and lots and lots of colors to choose from. So let's see, maybe I'll use, you need to select kind of a medium value, so I'm going to choose this kind of medium aqua blue. Get the paint bucket tool, which is grouped with the gradient, and click inside the circle. Do not deselect. The next thing that I'm going to do is double click this color chip right here and choose a light version of this color, maybe something like that. This is going to be the highlight. So I'm going to click OK, go over here and get a paintbrush. And in the brushes menu up here at the top, check that the hardness slider is on 0%. We want a soft edged brush. I'm going to click up here in this area to close the menu. Now when I hold the cursor over the circle, I want the brush size to be about 2/3 the size of the circle. So the bracket keys, which are next to P on the keyboard, I'm going to choose the right bracket and hit that a few times till I get a really big brush. And I clicked it one time, and now I have a nice highlight in the center of my circle. It's starting to look a little more 3D already. Now I'm going to go back to my color chip, and I'm going to get a really dark value to be my shadow. Click OK. This time I'm going to use the bracket keys, the left bracket, and make the brush a little bit smaller. And I'm going to carefully go around the edge to give this a shadow. So now I have 3 values: the highlight, the midtone, and the shadow. So if I click Control D on the D board, that is looking pretty three-dimensional. But I am going to make it even more 3D looking. Down here in the Layers panel, I'm going to click on the FX button and choose Drop Shadow. And I have this menu here. The first thing that I'm going to do is make the distance a little bit further away. This is a very hard edge shadow, and I'm going to soften it a little bit by making the size larger. And it's a little bit dark for my taste. So instead of 75, I'm going to back it off to somewhere in the 50s. I think that looks pretty good. So this went from a circle that was very flat to a sphere which looks pretty three-dimensional. Next thing that I'm going to do is give this a little bit of character by adding a pattern to it. So in the folder on the P drive, I saved some origami paper that I scanned. You can use those, or you can get some sort of a pattern off the internet if you wish. So I'm going to use this origami pattern right here. I'm going to click on the title and drag it to the side and go back to my sphere in progress. I'm going to switch to the Move tool and then click and drag on the origami and drop it into my document. And I'm going to put that back up there to get it out of my way. Now this is a lot larger than what it needs to be, so with the Move tool selected and the check mark in Show Transform controls, I have these handles around the edges of the image. So I'm going to hold down Shift, grab this corner, and shrink this to about the size that I want. And when I get it to the right size, I'm going to click the check mark. Now what I'm going to do is get this origami paper to go inside the circle. And the way that I'm going to do that is over here in the Layers panel, I'm going to hold down Alt, and when I get this overlapping circle icon between layer 1 and layer 2, I'm going to click with the mouse. And you can see that it made this little down arrow that's pointing to the sphere. This is called a clipping mask. So we went from looking three-dimensional to looking really flat again. So what I'm going to do is a few things. The first thing is I'm going to spherize this. In order to spherize it, however, I need to select the circle again. There's a really nifty shortcut for selecting the circle. Hold down Control on your keyboard, and down here in the Layers panel, look for this rectangle that has your circle in it and click on it. And you can see that it selected the circle. Do not click over here in this gray area, only click on this little rectangle. Now what I'm going to do is go to Filter, Distort, Spherize, and I'm going to make the amount 100% and click OK. So what that does is it kind of pushes the center out towards me, and it makes the sides kind of scrunched together, so it gives that illusion that it's a three-dimensional sphere. I'm going to deselect, Control D, and then I lost my shading because the origami paper is covering it up. So what I'm going to do to bring that back is over here in my Layers panel, with the origami layer selected, I'm going to open up the blend modes, and I'm going to click Dissolve just so that it's highlighted here. And now with the arrow keys on my keyboard, I'm going to go through these one at a time. Multiply looks pretty good. And I want to choose one where it shows the color variation. It shows the highlights and the shadows. So some of them are better than others. I really liked Multiply, so I'm going to go back to that one. Now I can leave it here. I do like these colors, so I could stop there. Or if I wanted to, I could go down here to the Adjustments button and choose Hue and Saturation, and I could change the hue of it just by clicking and dragging on this slider. So let's say I like that color. I could change the saturation, so I could make it brighter and more saturated, or I could make it less saturated, which makes it more neutral. The other thing that I could do is make it lighter or darker. So I could take this and make it dark, or pull it this way and make it light. So you notice that when I made this go towards the dark end, it also affected the white layer that's the background. So let me show you how to make it stop doing that. So let's say I like this really dark purple, but I don't want my background to be gray, I want it to be white. So all that I need to do is make another clipping mask. So hold down Alt on the keyboard, hover the cursor between the Hue and Saturation adjustment layer and layer 2. When you get the little overlapping circles, click, and now it has the little arrow that's pointing down, so it's only affecting the origami layer, and my background went back to being white again. Alright, so for the rest of this project, I want you to make at least 2 more circles for a total of 3 or 4 spheres for this project. Then go ahead and save it, then save a JPEG and put it on your photo portfolio on your Photoshop page. That's it for now.